everyone, welcome to FGM eCast for your Thursday night for the final time in 2021, or certainly 2021, with the ANZCAR Cup Series, and we are here. It is the final round of the chase, and what a final round we've got to bring you, with potentially 4 different suitors for the title. Who would have thought after a full year of racing, it came down to the final round, joined as always by the expert in the commentary booth, that is Carl Withy. Good evening, Carl.
There's an expert in here with us as well. I don't know who this person is, but I am here tonight. Welcome everybody. Yes, we are here at the new Phoenix Raceway. Slightly different shape to what we've seen in the past, of course. A little bit of a new layout, a little bit of a change here and there, a little bit of a spruce up as well, but a perfect place to have the showdown for the final of the Cup. Yeah,
absolutely. We'll go through those changes to the track when we do jump on board for the qualifying lap. But this was only released probably 3 weeks ago by iRacing onto the sim, so not a lot of experience for our drivers at this track. Of course, the Xfinity Series was here a week ago, but in the Cup cars we have not been here before, of course. So it is all about the decider. Who is going to take this out? We'll go through the championship contenders as well. One of those is our interview tonight, our final interview in the Chase interview series that Carl has put together for us. And before I forget, Carl, thank you for doing that. It has been a really good, particularly from my perspective, to learn a little bit more about some of our drivers, given our only fledgling relationship with the ANZCAR group, and tonight is the final of those interviews with none other than fan favourite Josh Micklemore. So we'll look forward to that after qualifying.
It's been a pleasure doing them. It's been nice to actually get to chat to the drivers out of the sim, so to say, because generally you only get to chat to people when you're racing, so getting to know everybody a little bit better has been a very interesting experience, and got to learn some really interesting facts about people.
Absolutely. So, is now a good time, Carl, to just give us a quick rundown on the points and what we're looking at tonight?
Absolutely. So Foster is in the championship lead with a 20-point advantage over the Mitch Motorsport driver Hamish Gallagher. So Natari driver Edward Foster in first position, 20 points ahead of Hamish Gallagher in Mitch Motorsport. Then we have Jason Martin in third, 31 points behind, with Josh Micklemore in fourth, 32 points down. And those are the only 4 that can theoretically take it out tonight. Now, Micklemore and Martin basically need Gallagher and Foster to have the worst night humanly possible, and for Foster to sort of really not finish at all, and they need to score as many points as possible. They're doing bonus points such as fastest lap, most laps led, and pole position, so they need to score all those bonus points they can. So it is a very tricky task for Martin and Micklemore. Gallagher, however, has got more of a shot with this one, so it's going to be a close fight between Foster and Gallagher, and we'll go through that a little bit as the race goes on.
Absolutely, and of course there is another element that I'm not completely across here, so excuse my ignorance in the audience. Evening Gail, evening Heigl, welcome to the audience. Carl, of course there is a little bit more to play for the rest of the drivers as well, in terms of is it automatic qualifying for an event in February?
I believe so, yes. So I think it's the top 20, I think. So if you finish within the top 20 of the championship, you get yourself into Daytona. So you want to be locking yourself into that chance as well. So there are still places to play for, and it's of course also who can finish the top of the regular season itself. At the moment, Stephen Williams has got that one pretty much in the bag with a 57-point advantage over Philip Worley. But there are still places to play for. For instance, Barry Neal, Ruben Phelps, Riley Curtis, Lachlan Urquio, all on the same amount of points at the moment, from 14th down. So they can move themselves up a nice couple of positions if they have a good, strong race tonight. So there are still a few little things to play for out there. And of course, everybody wants to try and finish off strong, wants to finish as high as they can in the championship, and see if they can actually get a good result out of this and finish off with a win, of course.
Yeah, and I mean, speaking of a driver like that, we've seen Dave Douglas just strike some form over the last couple of weeks. So he's currently running 5th fastest in practice as it stands. So I've got 2 minutes to go here, but he'll be one of those drivers on par with Mickelmore and Foster in practice time. Of course, practice time not necessarily meaning a great deal, but it gives us a little bit of an indication of the pace of the track. And of course, if you are keeping up with those faster guys, it bodes well. Of course, the draft can impact that in qualifying, but not necessarily during the race. So let's see what comes out of this one. Daniel Hedersheet on screen at the moment. The new signing of Natari Autosport this season. They'll be very happy with his performance over the rounds that he's been with him, including a win on debut for the team. So they'll be excited about what is in the works for season 2022. Of course, we will be changing into the next gen car for next season. Andrew Dyson on screen. He'll be another one who'll be excited about what he might produce next year, given his strength now on the oval circuit to combine with his regular circuit track experience. He'll be one to watch next year as well. So lots of positives from the year. Of course, it's been a long one. I would be lying if I think I speak on behalf of Carl as well if I didn't say we're looking forward to the end of our regular streaming commitments for the year with ANZCAR. We'll be back on Tuesday evenings, but other than that, it's just going to be some bits and pieces in between.
Just a little bit of a chance to rest those voice boxes, drink lots of honey and lemon, and get back into fighting fitness for next season.
Absolutely.
One of those drivers, as you were saying, Dave Douglas, he had a really good run here in the Xfinity cars, of course, taking out the final race of that season. Of course, Hamish Gallagher, the championship winner in the Xfinity Series. So those two have got some good form at the moment. Can't discount Foster. He's been quick at Phoenix before. So it's going to be a battle between the championship rivals, I think. We're going to see some good stuff here tonight. But we are going to be going into qualifying very, very shortly.
And of course, to keep an eye out, because Mitch Motorsport potentially here with a full end-of-season lockout, Trucks, Xfinity and the Cup if they do or are successful this evening. So there's plenty to watch out for. Let's jump into qualifying. A reminder that after qualifying, we will be going straight into that interview with Josh Mickelmore. So do stick around for that one in between while we switch over into the race. Speaking of which, Dave Douglas first out on track. So let's ride for the final season ride this year with Dave Douglas out on track.
Getting a lot of heat in those rear tyres. Dave was absolutely lighting it off the pit exit there. So coming onto the former front straight now, we're going to go into turn 3 and 4 here, and we're going to get across the start-finish line for the first lap here at Phoenix Raceway. So coming across the start-finish line, we go down underneath the dogleg here. So you cut across the track, going towards turn number 1, braking it nice and late for this one. That dogleg doesn't count as a corner. These corners you need to ease off, just wait slowly for it. You can see back end stepping out for Dave just there. Gets on the power now. This is the little straight that used to be the start-finish straight into turns 3 and 4 now. A little bit of a wider section here. You can carry a little bit more speed in here. Got to be careful of carrying speed off because it does tighten up a little bit, and it tightens up too much. Douglas into the wall.
Yeah, not the outcome we would have been looking for there at all. Daniel Hedersheet, let's jump on board with him in the Race Magazine sponsored entry as he looks like he's aborted this second lap. He has, so that's not going to help us. We'll jump on with... no, we won't. Not much luck tonight. Let's just zoom right out. We'll have a look at Edward Foster.
Yeah, so you can sort of see the slight difference in the track here because they changed the finishing line. It's just out of turns 3 and 4 now, just where the dogleg is, and it does change things up a little bit because the start-finish line is so tight on the exit. You're going to see drivers really struggling to get sort of side by side across there. I think it's doable, but the car does tend to drift up a little bit there, so it'll be interesting to see how that one plays out. But from what I've heard, the racing has been fantastic with this new circuit layout, and it's been working very well for everybody. So we'll see how this one pays off for the drivers tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, we will. So let's see what happens. Mikey Hansen just jumped into the chat and said that Twitch isn't working. It looks like it is from our end. So if it's not, apologies, but showing that it is streaming for us. So we'll just have a quick look at that if we can. Otherwise, obviously, as you have Facebook or YouTube are the places to jump on. Jason Martin out now, and he's aborted his flying lap. That hasn't worked out for him. Let's have a look at Riley Curtis as he gets around. I don't think there'll be anyone not qualifying tonight. Luke Hare just jumps up into P11 with his second flying lap.
Yeah, good run there, and again, some good runs out there tonight. Seeing Neil Pearson and Andrew Dyson up in 3 and 4 as well. CV Dub up in P5 as well. DPR having a good finish to the season. They're going to want a strong finish to a season that hasn't been so great in the chase, so to say.
Yeah, Neil Pearson will be happy to jump up there. He's had a couple of tough qualifying efforts over the last few weeks as well, so I'd be glad to be right up at the front for the final round. Alright, so Jason Martin's back out on track. Let's jump on board with him.
Yeah, see what magic Jason can work out tonight. Will he be able to snatch that pole position away from Heddersheed? Give his championship a little bit of a shot in the arm, gives his hopes of the chase a little bit of a chance if he can get that pole position. It's going to be a tight one. Jumps up to P6 on the first lap, and I think he's aborting that one, so P6 is the best that Martin can get.
Yeah, Michael Skurlock now on his first flying lap. Dornack just jumps up into P25 with his first effort. Right on board now, the Buckwild livery entry, and Skur working. He's the dark horse for tonight for the win as well. Gets across the line for his first lap. It does put him up into P11.
Can Scully ever be called a dark pony? I mean, he's always there or thereabouts. He's one of those drivers that is always lurking and always a bit of a danger to take away that victory. If you make a slight mistake, he is there to capitalise on it.
Tell you what, this will conclude qualifying here with Scully. Let's see how he goes. Does not improve on his fastest lap. Daniel Heddersheed taking pole position with 1 lap. So he's done it on the first lap out, and he's taken it by 5/100. So that's a fantastic effort from Heddersheed. He'll be very, very pleased with that result, as will Edward Foster, because it gives him an ally up at the front of the field. But there's a fair old pack of DPR and Mitch Motorsport in front of him. As we look there, it is Edward Foster in P7, Hamish Gallagher on the front row. So in terms of our championship standing, that's the one we've got to look at. Speaking of which, let's jump straight into the interview with Josh Mickelmore. Carl Withy and has put this one together, as I said, and we're going to listen to everything we need to hear about the last of our top 11 drivers in the chase this season, and it culminates with Josh Mickelmore. So hang around, have a listen to this, and we'll be back with the tail end of the warm-up and get straight into the final round of the ANZCAR Cup Series on FGM Acast.
Good evening, everybody. We are here tonight, joined by Mitch Motorsport's own Josh Mickelmore. Josh, how you going?
Oh, you guys, good.
Pleasure to have you here. Pleasure to finally have you in the booth. Of course, the regular season championship leader coming into the chase. Chase hasn't been that easy for you, though.
Yeah, we had a brilliant standard season. Managed to get a couple of wins and whatnot. And then, we got the Darlington, and it went a bit sour. We ended up finishing 24th or something and try to claw our way back the rest of this chase. So.
Yeah, you just need to say Darlington, really. It just sort of all went wrong there. Obviously, you know, when you say it's all gone wrong for you, you have 3 cars fighting for the win at the moment in the chase. Coming into this race, I mean, you all mathematically have a chance of taking out the championship with Hamish Gallagher, Jason Martin and yourself. Danny G made it in as well. It's been a bloody good year for the team.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like, you know, from where Hamish has come from last year to, taking out 2 Xfinity series this year. We got Jason just locked up another truck series, and, you know, there's a few of us in the running for the Cup series as well. So, all in all, like, as a team, as a whole, we've had a brilliant season, though.
Yeah, a disappointing season for Mitch Motorsport, not winning every championship you're in. But, it has been, it's been a bit of a super team. When you guys started forming, we sort of went, oh, this is going to be tricky, because we knew that you're going to be fast. And it has been the case ever since.
Yeah. So, first year we were fairly competitive. Came out and won, I think it was Daytona 500, I think. It was our first one. I'm a bit surprised about that one, because we all hate plate tracks. But, we come out strong at the start. When I started up the team and stuff. We were consistent and stuff over the last couple of years. But yeah, just got to finish it off.
Well, that's it. That's sometimes the hard bit, is that championship season, getting it absolutely perfect. But talking about racing, of course, I've asked a few people this. I mean, what got you into motorsport itself?
Oh, there's a big story about that one. So I was about 2 weeks old, I reckon. I was in the pram at Speedway because the old man, probably got to blame it on him actually. He used to crew on the hot rods back in the day, back in the early late 80s. So every Saturday night, pretty well, we were at the Speedway track, as far back as I know. And we were doing that for a good old 5 odd years. I reckon the old man was still crewing for that, and like I said, every Saturday night we'd be at the Speedway. And then as I was growing up, sort of thing, and Dad sort of gave the Speedway stuff away a little bit. We sort of stepped away from it a little bit, but still got a lot of interest in motorsport, watching V8s, Bathurst, and all that sort of thing. And because I got that interest, I was playing like car racing games. I think it was NASCAR 99 on PlayStation 1 was one of the games I used to thrash a lot. And also World of Outlaws Sprint Cars 2001 on PlayStation 2. That game absolutely got thrashed by me. So yeah, we were playing. That's what I was sort of had growing up. And then I think it was around 2007, I ended up starting to race go-karts myself, dirt karts, for about 5-6 years doing that, and coming up with a lot of good results, national titles and state titles and stuff. And the old man was sort of racing as well, my brother. And then after about 5 or 6 odd years, I asked a question to the old man. I said, should we race Speedway? And he was all for it. So we ended up racing Formula 500s for about another 5 odd years after that, being successful in that.
Growing up around motorsport, it does tend to drag you into it, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, like you surround around it, it's sort of all you think about really, and you've got mates that are doing the same thing, either racing karts or I had mates racing Speedway as well. It's just you're living it and breathing it the whole time. So yeah, I think it was about 2014. I think it was. The old wallet was starting to hurt, and I sort of couldn't afford to be doing it, running at the top level like I sort of tried to be at all the time, and so I gave it away. And then that's when started sim racing in 2015.
Yeah, and look, you've done pretty well in the old sim racing aspect. You're very quick in the rig.
Yeah, I was pretty fortunate when I started in 2015. I was about 2 months in after starting. I was in a random Pocono session in the A fixed, I think it was, and NIS fixed, and had this fellow called Zach Hudson approach me in the session, an American, and he must have been watching me do some laps or something. And he's like, do you have Discord or TeamSpeak or something? I said, oh yeah. And he's like, oh, come in, I'll have a chat with you. And I had a chat with him. This is, lo and behold, he didn't know he was running a NASCAR pro team at the time, Nexus Esports. And yeah, got on board with them pretty well, 2 months in after the start of my iRacing career. And was running with them for like 3 or 4 years, and that's how I sort of learnt the ropes and stuff, and they were teaching me following, really, really quick guys, and that's how I sort of learnt my NASCAR ropes from there.
I was just about to say, you've learnt them well because you've been extremely successful in the old NASCAR sort of scene.
Yeah, so I was racing like, at stupid hours of the morning and stuff to race with the Americans and stuff, doing all the official stuff, NIS and whatnot. And then I think it was 2018, the dirt started to come out on iRacing. So I sort of, that whole year, I barely did any NASCAR stuff. And I was still in Nexus Esports at the time, but just stepped away from NASCAR a bit because, dirt was my thing back in the days. So I just wanted to give it a good crack. And yeah, that's what I was with SSR boys with Hobbo on that year. And then 2019, I think I wanted to start doing NASCAR stuff again, start up Mitch Motorsports.
Yeah, well, it's kind of worked out well for you because there's a few more dirt tracks in the old NASCAR scene as well nowadays.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm not too fond of it, but yeah, it feels a bit weird to me. But it's something different. Definitely mixes it up.
It does. It just doesn't feel right in a NASCAR on dirt. It's almost like it's home territory, but it is just a strange feeling. You talked about starting up the team for Mitch Motorsport as well. That's obviously been a big influence and a big factor as well in ANZCAR history as well, because you guys have become pretty much one of the teams to beat.
I met Jason a long time ago. I was sort of following him in random official sessions. That's how I got to know Jason way back in the day. And I was sort of following him. He actually taught me the ropes a little bit as well through my career in iRacing and stuff. And then we started talking in late 2018 again. And I said, "Do you want to start a team up, mate?" Because he was sort of like racing a bit, but not heavily. He was sort of getting out of it, I think, a little bit. Not getting out of it, but just slowing down a little bit with iRacing and stuff. And I think that sort of ramped him back up to start racing a lot more.
So you're the one to blame for Jason coming back strong.
I don't know, maybe.
Oh, look, it's not a bad thing at all because we love the competition, and you guys definitely bring the competition. Look, obviously, as I say, team-wise, it's been a fantastic season for the team. Yourself, it's been a fantastic season for yourself as well. I mean, the regular season went extremely well for you. Coming into the chase as the leader, it must have had a bit of a good feeling to it.
Yeah, that was my aim, was to be on top of the board for coming into Darlington. We only just got there, but Neil did very well as all the other guys on the team. All did a hell of a job, but it was a hell of a season, just the regular season, 20 odd events or whatever, and some bloody hard racing there. So, and with all the other racing we did during that time as well, there was a lot on board, and it was good fun.
No, it's paid off. The hard work has paid off because, as I say, you guys definitely one of the teams to beat, and you give us some great stuff to watch week in, week out. I mean, obviously, with it being the end of the season now, usually I'd ask, obviously, a few races coming up for most people that we've had to chat to. What's going to be your strongest race? There's only Phoenix left for you now. So, how are you feeling going into Phoenix?
Yeah, I love the short tracks. And Phoenix is definitely one of my favourites as well. So, we'll see what we can do. We definitely haven't got a hell of a lot to lose. I mean, if something real bad happens to the top two, we might have a chance. But, we'll see what happens. It's a good, fun track. And hopefully we can get a win there. It'd be great.
Well, Chris, and the new Phoenix layout, the new Phoenix track with a win, that would be a good way to top off your season.
Yeah, not wrong.
No worries. Thank you so much, Josh. A pleasure to chat to you, and hopefully we'll get to chat to you before the end of the season at the end of the race.
Easy done. Cheers, buddy.
So there we go. The final episode in our series of driver interviews with the 11 drivers in the chase, culminating there with a chat with Josh Mickelmore. So certainly an interesting series, Carl. As I said, I very much enjoyed that, so thank you very much for doing that on behalf of the channel and getting to have a chat with everyone there. So Daiso's just jumped into the chat, just throwing a few curly ones, or just a little hint out there. It just says that hopes everyone's done their calcs tonight, so it sounds like things may be a little bit tight on fuel, or perhaps that there is a chance that Daiso might do a Daiso thing and run without getting any fuel. We'll see how we go.
That would only happen if there are a lot of pits, a lot of cautions, I'd say. I think they're going to be about 60 laps shy on fuel tonight. So we've got 150 laps here tonight. So around about 80, 90 laps maximum on fuel for a solid green flag run. But the other thing you've got to worry about here at Phoenix is that right rear. So staying out all night long on those tyres could be a bit of a death sentence, because you might hear that tyre go pop and all of a sudden your car's going to go spinning off in one direction.
Yeah, well, we have, of course, going back to very early in the year, we had a few races in a row where we had tyre failures and then it sort of dissipated. So that could be a factor tonight that will spice things up a little bit. But we will we'll certainly see how that goes. Looking forward to just getting the grid up on the screen and getting this one started. Looking forward to this for a couple of weeks, particularly because of the new format of the track as well. Just adding that extra thing into it, effectively a new track to close out the season, gives everyone that sort of level start again. So I think we're in for a cracking race tonight. Let's see what comes of it. We've not got long left in warm-up here. In fact, about 15 seconds to go, and then we'll be ticking over to the grid. The drivers will be starting to get nervous. They'll be hoping that's the last of that. Dave Douglas and Jason Martin, certainly. And we're about to get this one underway.
Yeah, of course, Dave Douglas finding out that Victory Lane is fully modelled as well. So the victor of tonight hopefully will know that and know where to drive. So hopefully they've done a bit of practicing for that part tonight. Yeah,
I was just switched the camera there just to see if we can get it to show us that you can actually drive up on the Victory Lane platform on this track. So that was pretty cool to see Dave do that last week. Yeah, he put a video of that up on his social media for the casting couch, of course. I glued my mind went exactly the same way. Went to Harry Styles. So when Carl brought out the One Direction, and of course it wouldn't be Thursday night without this happening, would it?
Without technical issues.
Oh, and it's exact same technical issue. So looking forward to the off season where we get to get this fixed. And there we go. I don't know what, it literally only does it on the cup. Literally only does it on the cup. Very, very frustrating. Anyway, let's crack along and let's have a look at this grid for the final round of the ANZCAR Cup Series, brought to you by FGME Cast, of course. And we have got Daniel Hedersheed and Hamish Gallagher on the front row of the grid with Andrew Dyson and Neil Pearson, row 2. Then it's Stephen Williams, Jason Martin, row 3. With Edward Foster and Josh Mickelmore, row 4, Scotty Griffiths and Danny G off 5, with Michael Skurlock and JCW off row 6. As we flip over, it's then Luke Trahare, Riley Curtis off 7, Hunter and Raymond off 8, Jaeger and Wally off 9, with Dortmack and Witcher off 10. Then it's Dave Douglas and Nigel Patton off 11, with Norm Clark, Greg Spencer off 12. And as we move back in, it's Barry Neal, Paul Jackson, Phil Otto, Noddy Tompkins, and rounding out the 29 starters for this final round is Lachlan Urquio.
So we're going to have an interesting race here tonight. The pace car is coming in. It's a long way to the grid line, start line. So they've got to go all the way through this section now, up to the start-finish line. So they've got to go through turns 3 and 4 before they start. So we're getting through, getting ready to go. The green light will be shown soon. And we are go for the final round of the ANZCAR Cup here at Phoenix Raceway. 2021 is just 150 laps away from conclusion.
And there it is, Andrew Dyson just down on that apron trying to get under with Danny G. With Daniel Hedersheed getting a good start. Hamish Gallagher doing the same now, trying to go around the outside here at Phoenix Raceway. There's a gaggle behind him, just trying to sort themselves out. There's already a little gap opening up there. It looks like in the background
Skurlock's taking a big hit, and so is Riley Curtis.
Yeah,
so,
Joshua Carroll-Warden with a lot of damage on the back of his cars. We've got a spin.
Around. Gallagher and Hedersheed go around.
No, they caught it. They both caught it. It has brought out the caution. They're both there. There was a little bit of contact, but they just saved it. And that has brought out the flag. Let's go back and have a look at it.
Oh, looks like Gallagher's just.
Oh, they both got
Hedersheed was going to go across
lucky.
the dog leg there. They got lucky. So it looks like Gallagher's just come down a little bit on Hedersheed, gone into the side of him, and they've both managed to save the slide somehow and not get collected by the rest of the field. Look how close Daiso was to the back of Hedersheed there. That was incredibly close. Very lucky to save that one.
Andrew Dyson there, my goodness me.
Buy yourself a lottery ticket tonight, guys. I think you've got the luck.
You'll be happy with that. We'll just have one more look at that. We'll have a look at it from the front of Dyson's car. It's right on the front of it. You can just see just gets out of the throttle and manages to make his way through. And absolutely right, High Glue. Great save there from Heddersheet and Hamish Gallagher. Gallagher would have been watching his potential championship go out the window. If that had have ended up any other way, Edward Foster would have been on the anchors, just trying to pull up to make sure he didn't get any damage or any damage from behind. I saw, as I said at the start there, I'm not sure what happened, Carl. Maybe you can jump back and have a look. Skirley, it's like there was a checkup, because Skirley's got a lot of damage to the front of the 350, and JCW has a huge amount of damage to the back of the 35. So you can just see that there. He's got right up in the wax of the FGME cast livery, and I think maybe a little checkup there's been the cause of that one at the start.
Yeah, so it was actually a checkup with Scotty Griffiths in front of JCW there, Joshua Carroll Walden. So Scotty Griffiths has had to brake just on the exit of the corner, and that's caught JCW out, and Skirling's gone right into the back of those cars. So it was just a little bit of a momentary lapse of grip for Scotty Griffiths, and that caused a bit of a check-up, and we saw some damage. We also saw a little bit of contact for Riley Curtis as well, and Luke Trahere, I believe it was. So those two had a little bit of contact. Not a huge amount of damage, but they have come in for a quick repair. So we've had Barry Neal, Paul Jackson, Luke Trahere, Greg Spence, and Riley Curtis all come down pit lane, get a few little repairs done, chuck a little bit more fuel in there, and get ready for this restart.
We're here with Andrew Dyson.
So I think with that incident that we saw, it be the defence from Hamish Gallagher that he was sort of expecting to see Heddersheed go across the dogleg a little bit more. Didn't expect him to stay that high up on the track, and it just caught him out a little bit. And that's something you've got to be careful here at Phoenix, because that dogleg, it is part of the track you can take, but you don't have to take it. So we can once again get ready for the restart along the front straight. The old start-finish line would have been just about here. We get down towards turns 3 and 4, and then the front of the field will lead away while the rest of the pack are just following in behind them. Daiso drops the hammer early, gets away nicely, gets a really nice restart there. That could cause a little bit of checking up behind him as people just start getting into the corner. They're going to need to brake a little bit mid-corner, just get that car easily settled through. But you can sort of see them dashing down through that dogleg when they get there, and they all take different lines, and that's something that can catch a few people out.
Just that exit off the dogleg is really rough. You see Daiso there, just the rear of the Ford 041 just bouncing around a lot as he re-emerged from that low end. So you can just see it here. If you just watch when he rejoins, it's a little bit abusive. So some drivers could catch them out as well later in the race.
Well, it's about 10 degrees of banking there, so it is a fair old jump up the circuit. You're going from a flat part of the track to the banking section, and that really off-settles the car. It sort of really unsettles it and makes it a little bit sketchy as you go through there, and it can be a bit of a bump. That's why you'll see some drivers keeping up on the actual banking part of the track, taking a little bit of a less aggressive way round, but it is quicker to cut through that dogleg.
And does that also have an impact on that right-hand rear tyre? Like, for avoiding it, does that help you save a little bit because it's not quite as aggressive on the scrub?
It can do. It's a little bit more gentle. Generally, you're going to lose a little bit more of the rear tyre through turns 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, sort of through the actual high-angle corners of the dogleg. It can cause a little bit of the tail to get happy as you get back onto the surface, as you get back up onto the banking of the track. But it's not too aggressive on the wear factor. It's more so it can just catch them out sometimes because it does give a good old jolt to the steering wheel.
Well, 10 in to 150 here, and it's I didn't realise we've done 10 laps. It's been an interesting start. And a couple of moments for a number of the drivers here, but we're into it now. With 2 of the DPR entries up the front. Andrew Dyson's checked out a little bit at the moment. Neil Pearson here with Jason Martin. We're on board with Daniel Heddersheet. He's got Steve Williams keeping him company right behind him. Hamish Gallagher sitting there as well, as Josh Mickelmore looks to try and make a move. In fact, my apologies, Joshua Carroll Walden there trying to put a pass on it to Josh Mickelmore. Not quite able to get it done. He's got his teammate Edward Foster right behind him, and the assassin Danny G on his way through. The silent assassin is probably the way we should call it. Assassin sounds like he kills people. He does not. Just makes his way up the field without much notice is probably more what we're trying to describe there. But Danny G just behind in 10th position.
Picking off people as he goes and just quietly getting past them without them noticing him.
I realise the connotation of calling him the assassin's not quite great in the motorsport parlance.
Yes, Danny G, not known for murdering drivers, so yes, he's one of the nice guys. There aren't many in the field, around about 29 of them. So a good bunch of lads. But Daiso is checking out a little bit at the moment, having a really good run as it stands. But is he going a little bit too fast, too early? Is he going to start taking a little bit of tyre life out of his car a bit too soon? And will we see people like Jason Martin, Hennessy Williams, Gallagher, Micklemore, Carroll and Foster start closing up in a little bit of time?
Yeah, potentially so. These longer races, even someone like Luke Trahere is all the way down in 22nd at the moment, but he does manage his tyre life very well. So he'll be wanting a long caution-free run from here on in to see if he can make his way back up through the field.
Yeah, if we get a nice long green stint, I think Daiso is going to be struggling a little bit towards the end of it. But we have seen Dyson pull out some miracles before, where he's been absolutely hammering those tyres and somehow just kept it going, despite the fact that they should be just rims by the stage of the race that he's got to. So we'll see if he can manage that one again. And he's got that comfort of having Pearson just behind him at the moment, keeping the rest of the pack off his tail. So Pearson just sitting there in P2 at the moment. Going to want to try and keep that position, of course, and keep a strong finish for the team. It'd be really nice if they could get Stevie Dub up there as well, shuffle him up there to try for another lockout. Of course, we've seen both Mitch and DPR have some team lockouts in the chase, the only two to manage this far.
I was going to say that'd be a good start the chase with the lockout, finish the chase with the lockout. Of course, they would have preferred the results a little different in between, but those guys will be very, very pleased if they can do a lockout here in the last race of the season. We spoke about at length last week about the progress of DPR and the impact that's had on the series as a whole. Obviously, getting the Mitch boys to step up a little bit further, and one of the strongest oval track teams in the country, and Atari as well. So those typical suspects up at the front of this championship, and we're seeing it again here tonight.
Yeah, that's it. You can see how much having teammates helps. Of course, it is a fixed setup series, so it can't sort of change the setup much. You can change the steering rotation a little bit. You can change the brake bias, but that's about it. So there's not much you can do to these cars. But when you've got teammates, you can do a little bit more practice together. You can get a bit of an idea of how the track's running and how the race is going to run, and sometimes that can be a big advantage. And you can kind of see that there. All up the front at the moment are teammates. Everybody up there is running in either DPR, Atari or Mitch Motorsport, so it is absolute lockout of the teams. The next car in line is Scott Griffiths in 12th with Synergy. And then we have Dave Douglas, of course, flying solo. So very much the teams working out at the moment.
Yeah. JCW there, just getting underneath Josh Micklemore, just not quite able to do anything about it at the moment. He sort of gets in and then just can't carry the pace. So he's running with Foster. So not too much has changed at the moment. Sort of ending up now with a gap in the two packs form. Just on that, Carl, of course, as well. One of the things that I noticed as a new person joining into this community is just how willing everyone is to help one another as well. So part of that comes from the team spirit.
Very close, just very close there between Micklemore and Williams. Looks like Micklemore's struggling with the rear. His back end is all over the place at the moment. That thing is getting squirrely. So Josh Micklemore having to absolutely just be ever so careful on the throttle, just gently pressing it down. As that back end is stepping out, JCW loses the rear end going across the dogleg. Lucky for him, it was across the dogleg, so he can salvage that one. almost loses it in front of his teammate Foster. JCW having a little bit of trouble with those rears as well, so looks like the rear tyres might be just starting to drop off a little bit now. Those cars are getting a little bit sketchy at the back.
Whitmore does get a good exit out of turn 3, out of turn 4, my apologies. So
just
out of turn 3.
Him, you'll see Foster getting past JCW and Danny G as well, joining them. So move position going across the field at the moment. A couple of moves happening at the same time.
It looks like Danny G's just struggling a little bit too. So Foster's been jogging on the spot a little bit, so he's saving some tyre for this next segment of the race.
Gap at the front is closing as well. It's gone from about a second to about half a second now. Dyson is getting closed in on by his teammate and Jason Martin with Daniel Hedersheet as well. So Dyson might have just bolted a little bit too soon, maybe used up a little bit too much of that rear tyre, and is now starting to struggle a little bit on the exits.
They've been expecting there to be a number of cautions in this early phase of the race. So far, so good. Only the one caution early on for the touch and slide between Hedersheet and Gallagher.
Just jumping back to Foster. He's making a move on Stevie the double at the moment, trying to get down the inside of Stevie Williams. Can't quite manage it through turns 1 and 2. Might give it another go just on the exit of 4. He's able to run a little bit of a lower line at the moment, but he's definitely trying to get past Stevie W. Seems to be just struggling a little bit with pace, a little bit of damage on the front right hand side of Stevie W as well, so that could be costing him a little bit more wear over the race.
So with our points gap between Edward Foster and Hamish Gallagher, Carl, do we know what we're looking at in terms of finishing places for Foster to surrender the lead of the championship?
We do indeed. But do I want to tell you? That's the question.
Well, I'm sure there'll be some people who'd want to know.
Some eager viewers out there wanting to know. So, I don't know if I want to spoil it all for you now. So, if Hamish Gallagher wins, Foster needs to finish around about 15th, 16th or better. If Hamish is lower than that, if Foster's within 20 positions of him, he's got it wrapped up. Of course, there are some bonus points to play with as well, so there is a little bit of tinkering around there. But at the moment, he's looking good. He's in a position to sort of hold on at the moment, Foster. Gallagher really needs to start pushing forwards and try get to the front, and that's going to be a lot harder now. He's got that damage to the right front as well. A lot of damage on that car as well. So he's taken a big whack to that car on the right side, and that's going to cause him to struggle with this race. So we'll see how this one plays off. Foster meanwhile going up high on Stevie Dub, trying to get a better exit out the corner. Stevie Dub just gets a little bit of oversteer on the exit there. Back end steps out a little bit, and Foster should just about get this move done, and he does indeed, and he is sitting right behind his championship rival Hamish Gallagher now.
With that one there, yeah, he does just closes that out as you called, Carl. So I'm pretty happy with where his position at the moment. Jump on with Josh McMahon now, the leader of this chain. He's just pulled away a little bit, but up at the front, half a second between Andrew Dyson and Neil Pearson. So that gap has plateaued, but Martin right there, Hedersheet right there with him as well. So these three haven't left one another's side for a little while now. I think just managing for the minute. There's no cause or call to be outright aggressive at this point in the race.
There's a long way to go still. It's very early to try and win the race, but it's not too early to lose the race.
Absolutely. That's the case.
So Stevie Dub just dropping another position now, falling behind Danny G, and got JCW all over the back of him at the moment. So starting to struggle a little bit on tyres, I'd say, from people, especially those cars with some damage on the front. It just unsettles the vehicle a little bit if you get suspension damage. Obviously the aero doesn't help either, but that little bit of damage can just cause the car to drop off a little bit more than you expected, and in some different ways, and that latter stages of a stint. As JCW has a big snap of oversteer there, getting across the tri-oval.
He has blown his motor.
He has indeed.
He is out of the race.
Damage to the front there, proving fatal for JCW tonight. That engine has just gone poppity pop. So quite warm temperatures out there. It is Arizona. But not super hot. It's about 22, 23 degrees Celsius, 27 degrees track temperature, so it's not baking hot out there. But obviously that damage to the front of JCW was enough to cause a overheating issue and end his night early.
So first casualty of the evening on lap 34.
Meanwhile, the gap has closed up to 0.2 of a second up the front. Dyson is bleeding time at the front of this race. Pearson is closing the gap very fast right now. Wouldn't be surprised to see a change of position shortly between these two.
Yeah, absolutely. You see there the 21 at Mitch Motorsport entry. Martin's just still just maintaining pace. Gap never more than 3/10 between himself and Neil Pearson. So let's see if he and Dyson exchange positions. Take a turn leading the race. Any idea on pit window, Carl? That right rear we're starting to scream a little bit as we've had 31 laps without caution.
Say we'd be looking at people possibly coming in the next 10 to 20 laps, I'd say. You're going to want to try and... I think they're going to want to try sort of split this race into threes if they decide to go that way. So around about lap 50, maybe lap 55, because they are looking to struggle a little bit with those rears at the moment.
I believe they call that the Dortnack strategy, just dividing the race evenly.
They do indeed. Speaking of Dortnack actually coming in, and looks like he's had to jump out of the car, unfortunately. A big snap on the rear, and he has had to jump out of this race. So possibly some kind of technical failure for Mirko, which is unfortunate. But I was keeping an eye on him because I thought, is Mirko coming in for a sneaky pit stop early? No, it looks like it is some kind of technical failure on his equipment.
Barry Neal looks to put a move on Justin Witcher here. Just not quite able to get it done at the moment. This is the battle for 17th and 18th positions. He just decides to pull in behind Witcher once again.
And we are getting up to traffic now. So Noddy Tompkins out in the chase tonight. Good to see him get out there. First car to go a lap down tonight.
Whoa. Carl.
The curse is strong, isn't it?
The curse is strong in this one. My goodness me, as Noddy Tompkins gets up into the wall and just hits his autograph onto the right-hand rear quarter of Neil Pearson. Neil no doubt will have been on the radio about that one, I imagine.
Yeah, brief call on that one. I won't talk about anyone else tonight, I think.
No more names.
At least I get a broken nose from somebody. So the car in front is leading.
That's Noddy Tompkins jumping into pit lane.
Jumping straight in, getting those repairs done, and I think getting a fresh set of boots on that thing as well. I think it just got caught out a little bit by that back end. I'm wondering if we'll see a few people just try and keep it out a little bit longer after that early caution. Maybe go an extra 10 or so laps, maybe get it to about lap 60. Try for the slight overcut technique. If we are going to be looking at 2 more stops, it might pay off for them. Just having that little bit of extra pace in the latter stages. Currently, they're around about 2 seconds off their fastest lap, so you can see a better drop off on time, so on lap times on tyres. which is almost the case, but some tracks it's worse than others, and Phoenix is one of those tracks where tyre life is... You tend to want to have some good tyres on board because the back end is quick to step out here.
Trying back through a couple of the drivers. BK Designs sponsorship in the back of the number 31 of Josh McMahon. As we look back at Hamish Gallagher, who's got Edward Foster right behind him.
Dave Douglas, you can see him very faintly in the back of that picture. He's trying to catch up to Stevie Dub now and break up the team formations in the top 10. The first of our privateers out there, Dave Douglas, trying to work his way up through the top 10 as it stands. Hopefully I haven't got the knockers on Dave right now.
He's struggling a little bit with rear tyre. You can just hear it there. See the car just moving a bit on the road as well. So
they're definitely not comfortable out there at the moment, and it's one of the things of Phoenix that is tricky to drive around is the fact that you do have you've got to really be careful of those rears dropping off, and that rear right does sort of drop off the cliff eventually in all series. I remember we were doing an IndyCar race here a while back, and it really, when those tyres drop off, you really feel it. Slightly different vehicle, of course, but similar sort of principle. It's not comfortable to drive around because you have to just so gingerly touch that accelerator pedal. If you press it a little bit too hard, all of a sudden that car is going to go around on you and you're going to have a big accident.
yeah, it's eggshells. So another season highlight, Matty Ray. He's just doing Matty Ray things as well. He's moved his way up 4 positions so far to P12. Nice clean car as we would expect from Mr. Sheen.
Always keeping that car nice and clean.
Absolutely. So,
Currently though, Dave Douglas and Lachlan Urquio, biggest gainers of the race, 10 positions each. Dave Douglas in P11, Lachlan in P19. Michael Skurlock coming in pit lane.
just checking in. It's a routine stop for him. He might be a little bit concerned after the early incident with some cooling issues.
An eye on this one, and it looks like it's just a routine stop at the moment, so it might be the first of the pit stops for Mr. Michael Skurlock, coming in a little bit earlier, well, pretty much on lap 50. So lap 48 he's coming in, so he's at that point. He's going to get a little bit of repair done and get back out there and try and set some quick laps. He's going to drop a couple of laps down though, so he's going to want to see a caution flag flying a little bit later in this race, I imagine. Meanwhile, the leaders are picking their way through some of the drivers a little bit further back. Paul Jackson next to past, and he's just sitting behind Jason Martin at the moment. And then next up the road is Greg Spencer. So slowly start to catch onto the tail of the field.
There is a move
Matt
on
Hunter
here.
coming in to the pit lane, and we've got a bit of a move between Heddersheed and Micklemore. Micklemore down the inside at the moment as they go through the corner. Very close between these two, side by side, as they get onto the back straight into turns 3 and 4. And you'll see Micklemore possibly try and take to that dog leg. Will he? No, he's going to keep it up there. So Micklemore just hanging onto the back of Heddersheed at the moment. We'll see how this one plays out.
Definitely. Saw that coming there with the traffic as well. Had to get involved in this. So as Micklemore tries to go down the inside again, looks like he might just have a little more rear tyre left than Heddersheed. Just quite able to get it done there though. And Stevie Dubbs dropped a fair way now. He's right back down into P12. Just got passed by Matty Ray.
So Matt Hunter is the first pit stops now. So I think Skurlock had a bit too much damage and decided to call it quits, unfortunately. So Matty Hunter, first car into pit lane without any major damage to it or anything overly interesting happening to it, just coming in for strategy's sake. So I'm going to keep a little bit of an eye on those lap times. We'll see how much faster those tyres are. Meanwhile, Josh Micklemore's making the move on Heddersheet. Down the inside there, side by side once more. Bit of a drag race. Heddersheet gets a better run off the corner. Micklemore's got the inside at the moment. Looks like Micklemore's just got a little bit better grip, a little bit more confidence as he runs through there, slides it up in front of the 035 and makes the move done on the 21 of Josh Micklemore, making the pass.
Gets that one to stick. Meanwhile, at the front, it's just drifted a little bit. It has got a little closer, had got a lot closer. So just managed to pull that out again. And also, we're just seeing here, Edward Foster makes a move. Now gets in front of Hamish Gallagher. That is a championship change for position. Foster just looking to... I'd say he's obviously not had to drive anywhere near as hard to maintain that position. I'm not saying that it was easy, but he hasn't had to drive the socks off the 53. He's just been sticking with the pack. Gallagher will be working a little harder with that damage.
Foster doesn't need to win the race, but he can lose the championship. So it's just keeping the car out of trouble tonight and keeping it in a good position. I think that's what he's going to be working on.
In the meantime, Dave Douglas is just trying to find a way past Philip Worley in amongst the traffic as well.
So just looking at the fresh tyres on Matt Hunter at the moment. Matty Hunter just set a 27.3. So a good couple of tenths faster than the leaders at the moment. Tyre drop off is not hugely as bad for between Dyson and Hunter, but I imagine as soon as we see Hunter sort of settling in, getting those tyres bedded in, he's going to be much, much quicker. Riley Curtis also just came in and he's just set a 26.8, so a good couple of seconds faster than Dyso, so that shows the pace of the new tyres, so the fresh tyres definitely going to be an advantage. It's just when you want to pull the trigger. So when will the leaders come in? They're going to be getting to the point where they're going to be thinking about it probably in the next 5-10 laps, I would say.
Yeah, well, I mean, they can stretch it to 75. They're one stop. Admittedly, there was a caution. Perhaps that was the cryptic message that we saw from Andrew Dyson in the chat before the race.
Yeah, they should be okay for fuel, I think, for that. It's just whether they want to risk it on those tyres. And being racing drivers, they will always risk it.
Absolutely. I don't expect anything else.
The difference between a racing driver and an engineer is the engineer will come in for fresh tyres, the racing driver will stick it out there until there's nothing but rooms left.
Absolutely. Dave Douglas got some damage to the right-hand front side now of the casting couch. Double D entry. You see that there. It's not really affecting him too much as yet.
He'll polish that out, I'm sure, and get that couch back up to full working condition by next season. Well, he doesn't need it anymore as well. I mean, this is the final season, they're getting retired, so not too much to worry about with these things anymore.
Yeah, that's a good point. Of course, the car being retired. This is its last race as a cup car for ANZCAR. As I say, it may not make an appearance in another series, but certainly in the main series, this is it. It's Swan Song. Dave Douglas still getting very loose rear of the 199. See it braking there for him as he gets on the throttle.
Trying his best to get underneath Philip Worley at the moment in the purple flavoured DPR car. Philip Worley's got a little bit of damage on that right front as well. Quite a few cars sporting out a little bit of right front damage tonight. A few worse than others though.
Philip Worley's another driver to be excited about for 2022. Didn't quite get enough to run the full season this year. But when he has run, he's taken out a couple of victories. Definitely one to keep an eye on for next year.
Yeah, very much so. A really exciting prospect. It's one of the things with DPR that it's really exciting. They've brought in some new drivers to the pool, and they have been quick and really had to. It really made everybody need to step everything up a little bit, because you sit back and you get comfortable, and then all of a sudden a new, fresh, young person comes in and they're quick, and you go, I need to practice this a little bit more. I need to do something a little bit more, and it causes everybody just to up their game a little bit. Not that anyone's really sort of easing off and just resting on their laurels, but it does sometimes make you just bring a couple of extra tenths to your race, which is the difference between those really, really fast guys and sort of your regular drivers, and it just ups the level of performance a little bit. But Dave Douglas getting up in front of Wally at the moment. Matty Ray now on the outside trying to get past as well, seeing what he can manage there for P10. Get a good run off this corner. Of course, they're going to have that little bit of dogleg. Will he be able to keep it nice and stable here?
I think Wally will be in the next lap or two. He is absolutely struggling with that tyre. That Douglas was as well. Yeah, go on the DD, and Wally could be that caution to come. Both drivers struggling with the rear. Dave's been struggling with the rear on that for a number of laps. Wally just having a big moment, which is what allowed Douglas to get the drive and get on with it. So Wally holding out at the moment, but he will definitely be a benefactor of some fresh tyres in the 233.
I think that we're going to wait till half distance now and make it to that halfway point before they come in. Will we see a couple of people hanging out there till lap 18, possibly just try a couple of extra laps just in case the caution flies, try it for slightly fresher tyres for the end of the race. That's going to be I think that's going to be the strategy call that can make or break a race right now. Tyre drop off, it's not been huge, but fresher tyres are often better than none, and we do see Wally and Stephen Williams coming into pit lane right now on lap 71.
There you go. So race leaders heading up towards the back now of Norman Clark, and Dyson in. So he's decided not to go to halfway. Interesting. Pearson stays out.
I think he feels like there isn't enough drop-off to be worried about the overcut. So I think he's got the thought process that the tyre advantage is not that special here. Those fresh tyres are not going to be giving you a huge pace advantage. At least not enough to make it so it's going to be easy to get past. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out as we go along in this race.
Pearson remains out there. Jason Martin behind him. Josh Mickelmore moves up into third, or is in third position, I should say. He was already there. Daniel Heddershed in fourth. Foster F fifth. Gallagher, Danny G, Douglas, Raymond and Griffiths. Scotty Griffiths managing to get up into P10 at the moment before we cycle through our stops. Lachlan Urquio has jumped into pit lane as well. He is accompanied by Justin Witcher, and now we're just waiting to see when Neil Pearson will make his jump. And the balance of the field. So a number of the drivers are lapped down, but of course we've got the pit lane to cycle through, so they will be hoping.
I wonder if we'll see the two Mitch cars of Mickelmore and Martin try and stick it out as long as possible to just get that bonus point for leading the race. Because, as we say, they are sort of on that very mathematical chance of winning the championship, but they need to get every point they can manage, and they're going to need a lap lead point for sure. So will we see them stick it out just a little bit longer? It might hurt their race in the long run, but it could win them the championship.
It'll give us a good indication of pace. Lachlan Urquio has been through the pit lane. Pearson has not as yet.
You will see a good second or two on the fresh tyres. They do give a nice little bit of early pace.
As we say that, Pearson comes in.
And so does Jason Martin. So looks like Jason Martin's going to come in. Josh Micklemore's going to stick it out to get that extra point. Foster's staying out there as well. Because a little extra point for his championship won't be too bad. Same for Hamish Gallagher. So they're thinking about championship points in their mind. So Riley Curtis pit in around about 20 laps ago. His lap times are in 28.3s at the moment. The leaders are in 28.1s. So you can see the tyres do plateau quite quickly. After about 20 laps or so, they don't really fall off too much more.
Even so Dave Douglas at 27.9 last time around. So just not as you say in Carl. Sorry, I cut across you there. They're more in conversation. Yeah, the drop-off's not that big.
No, it gives you a nice little bit of an early advantage. But over the long run, not so much. Foster coming into pit lane after leading a lap, and Hamish Gallagher coming in as well. So Foster and Gallagher both coming in this time round for their tyre stops, and it'll be a race off pit lane for those two. Foster in the lead on that one. Dave Douglas staying out there a little bit longer as well. So Double D just he might have been struggling with those tyres, but he's a glutton for punishment tonight because he's sticking it out there a bit longer.
Just working the couch. Trying to get every last little ounce out of it. There we can go there. Michael was just saying Foster staying out from bonus point with leading a lap was huge, absolutely. More so as well for the fact that Gallagher didn't lead a lap, so he will not get that point from there. So just every little bit counts.
Foster out of pit lane now, so Dave Douglas in the lead of this race over Barry Neal at the moment, and you can see Daniel Hennessy just getting past Dave Douglas now to get his lead lap back. So that's a crucial one. Of course, they're going to want to be on that lead lap as soon as possible, just in case a caution does fall, so they don't fall down a lap.
Or at least be in Josh Micklemore's position. Maybe get the lucky dog. Yes. But otherwise, it's not good news. Dave Douglas comes down. Oof, gee whiz.
Very close to Micklemore there.
Just a bit slow getting down under the line there, Double D, and Josh Micklemore almost had his foot on that.
So Barry Neal now leads the race.
So Barry Neal has had a win this season. So having a bit few and far between.
Taking his maiden cup victory this season as well. So he's had a good year, and Air Tour Racing coming out strong as well. So having a good season with some good points finishes and podiums this season as well. And they're going to hope that they can continue that into next year as well. Neil has come into pit lane. He came in very early on, of course, so he's trying for the incredibly long run now, seeing if he can get anywhere with this one. If a caution flag flies, this will work out extremely well for him. If it doesn't, then it could really cost him dearly.
Josh Micklemore just, if you don't mind, just punches a 26.59, fastest lap of the race to date on fresh tyres. So once they get that few laps in, just crunches that number out. It's a pretty strong lap from him.
Neil into pit lane, so that's going to give Andrew Dyson the lead of this race. Dyson back into the lead ahead of his teammate Neil Pearson. Hennessy in third, Micklemore fourth, fifth for Foster, sixth for Martin, seventh for Worley, Curtis in eighth, ninth for Williams, and
Matty Ray rounding out the top 10.
Hamish Gallagher dropping down to P12.
Obviously sticking maybe for a little bit of repair there. But big gain at Dyson in that pit exchange. He's opened up a gap that was 0.3 to 1.5, just over 1.5 seconds. So that played out well for him over his teammate, and even for Neil Pearson over Daniel Hedersheed, that gap has opened up as well. Of course, Hedersheed jumping Josh Micklemore through that pit lane process, moving from P4 to P3.
Yeah, so Hamish Gallagher losing about 4 seconds in pit lane,
So
missing his pit box.
what happened to Martin? Because of course Martin was running third. So he's the one that's suffered as well. He's dropped from third down to 6th position through the transition.
Martin's had a little bit of a long time in pit lane. So I'm going to have a little look back at that one as well. So he had a bit of a longer pit lane
maybe
transition.
his entry might, maybe the entry is 57 second transit for him, 54-ish on average for everyone else. So, yes, they are. The set is fixed, so they are required to run the same set.
Not sure actually. Just a little bit slower through pit lane for Martin. He did come in a couple of laps later than a couple of drivers out there, so he's got jumped a little bit. I think he also got caught in a little bit of traffic as well. So it's sort of the undercut's not really paid off for Martin at the moment.
No, well, that has shaken things up at the front. Header sheet under pressure now from Josh Mickelmore, who wants that position back. Give that one to me. That's what he's saying. I'm excited to see what Daniel Hedershed does next season. But at this point in time, it looks promising. Josh Mickelmore, though, saying, mate, I'm on my way through here. Just, if you don't mind, I'll have P3 back.
Really nice little bit of racing between these two side by side here at Phoenix. Mickelmore takes a nice late lunge down the inside. He's going to get a good run off the corner slider up in front of Hedershed and take that position by force. Hedershed's going to try and get underneath him across the dogleg, but can't quite do it. Josh Mickelmore there taking the position up to P3. So, Stuart, I hear it's somebody's birthday today.
Yes, it is.
Yes, a big happy birthday to Stuart, of course, our fantastic producer and camera operator and everything, really, for FGM Ecast. So.
Sorry, just down on the inside there, Paul Jackson decided to try and make things a little bit interesting. Managed to catch it, though, just on the verge of the apron there. But yes, thank you, Carl. That is another year done and dusted.
Well, Jackson there just trying to give you a birthday celebration, a little bit of a birthday donut for you.
Wow. Gap between Dyson and Pearson's close back up to 3/10 now.
Yeah, Dyson is losing a little bit of time, and that's to be expected in these early stages. Pearson is on 5 laps fresher tyres, so he's got a little bit of a tyre advantage at the moment over Dyson. Dyson is counting on the plateau, though, for those tyres, and he's going to hope that he can keep that. Meanwhile, a little bit further back, we've got a race between Matty Ray, Danny G and Hamish Gallagher. So those guys are battling it out. Danny G down the inside of Matty Ray. At the moment, Hamish Gallagher trying to get up to that point as well. Gallagher on a bit of a recovery run now, trying to work his way back through the field and catch up to Foster.
We've seen him do that throughout the season as well. And all looked lost. He did it last week as well. So see how far he can get. Oh, it's just...
Big dive at the front. We've got a move for the lead. Neil Pearson takes the lead of the race over Andrew Dyson at the front of this race. A very late braking move by Pearson. Meanwhile, a bit further back, Matty Ray is still battling it out with Danny G. Those two side by side again, but Danny G just getting down the inside of Matty Ray as it stands. And I think he might have just secured the position. Might be able to help his teammate out a little tiny bit. Matty Ray taking none of it. He's decided he's going to go down the inside this time. Try and fight for that position. Will we see Hamish Gallagher try and hold it around the high line, try and do the up and under here, see if he can take advantage. Danny G just gets a little bit of wheel spin in front of Matty Ray there, loses the tail and loses a little bit of speed. That's going to give Gallagher the opportunity to close it up a little bit on Matty Ray. He's going to get down the inside here for the dog leg section. How low will he go? He goes quite low, drops right across there. It's going to give him a nice run into turns 3 and 4 right now. Late on the brakes, slide in there. Going to see Raymond get a good run off the corner now. It's going to be a bit of a drag race. Who can get it working the best? And it is Raymond.
Matty Ray just coping with the pressure there. Gallagher will be looking forward to getting through and having a crack with Danny G, moving a little bit further up the field here, but Matty Ray's got other plans for them so far as he's looking now to get aggressive down underneath Danny G. This guy's right back up there again. You can see that damage from the early incident on the back of Danny G's car. Start of this race. So all these drivers on similar age tyres. Matty Ray, the oldest of those tyres. Lap 76 he pitted. Gallagher lapped 81 and lap 77, my apologies, for Danny G. So there's no tyre benefit for any of these drivers.
But there is a tyre advantage for the third place car, the 31 of Josh Micklemore, who is catching on Dyson at the moment. Watch out for this move on Dyso from Josh Micklemore, who is absolutely eating away the gap at the moment.
Just going to get through this traffic. It's currently got Barry Neal just in front of him there, I think. 2:31, in fact, of Paul Jackson. I'm sorry. It's Paul Jackson, in fact, that he's just got to make his way past in that chase. Daniel Heathersheet's fallen off the back a little bit, and that means that Edward Foster, his teammate, is catching. Foster just getting past Noddy Tompkins. You can see Jason Martin there in the background as well, just making his way through the pack. So our lead group is just starting to close up here, which is good news for us.
We've still got a good battle going on between Hamish Gallagher and Matty Ray at the moment. Dave Douglas is just sniffing around now on those very fresh tyres. Dave Douglas, of course, one of the last cars to pit. He's sneaking up there now and seeing if he can gain a couple of spots.
What can Matty Ray do here? Got Dave Douglas there. As you mentioned, Douglas just having a look down the inside. Getting far enough up there as we jump on board with Matty Ray. You can't see anything, so let's jump back here instead. There is Dave Douglas. As we have a look forward, it's just Hamish Gallagher's just moved away again. So that gap reopens. Douglas now continues to put the pressure on. Who else down the field? Is there a battle on? Well, it is. Barry Neal and Scott Griffiths having a bit of a fight over P15. So both of these guys battling for position. As Neal gets down low, just gets that run out, opens it up on Scotty Griffith. Dave Douglas has put the move on Matty Ray. While we're having a look at that one, he's got that one done on the exit of turn 2. And moves up into P10, so he's now wanting to get under Hamish Gallagher if he can. Got some work to do now to do that. Meanwhile, up at the front, it's remained fairly stable. Daniel Heathersheet has, however, moved closer again to Josh Micklemore, and you can see the Godfather, Edward Foster, down there as well, closing in. So this battle at the front, this is going to compress before this is too much further along, and we're going to have a real race on our hands towards the end of this one.
Just behind Foster is Jason Martin as well. Martin is just going to get past those 2-lapped cars, and he'll be back in this fight. So we've got the little bit of a battle between Jackson and Tompkins at the moment, and those two are sort of keeping each other honest, and that sort of put a little bit of a roadblock in some of the other drivers and has caused a little bit of a spread out of the field. It's given Andrew Dyson a chance to pull a little bit of a gap over Josh Micklemore as well. So Micklemore lost a little bit of time and has lost a little bit of time to Heathersheet and Foster as well, but Jason Martin has gained a few spots as well. Traffic jam on the track. Of course, no blue flags in local racing, because why would you have a blue flag? Not needed. You race people and you get past them. That's your job as a racing driver. So not obliged to just give people a position. You just keep on the racing line. That's all you need to do. If you're like that, it's the job of the driver behind you to get past you. It's not your job to let them past.
Sounds fair by me. Actually, just gets up a little high there. Here we're going to tighten that up. Step caught up onto the back of Phil Worley now. They can continue their contest for position 7.
42 laps remaining of this final race of the season here tonight at Phoenix Raceway. And we've had a fair few green laps tonight, Stuart. It's been a nice thing, hasn't it?
After the last few weeks, Carl, it's been a pleasant surprise. It's like that refreshing, cool breeze on a hot summer's day, to be brutally honest. But there's been good racing as well.
The one problem with this kind of thing is it does mean I can't really ask any questions. But seeing I've started, I might as well finish. So, Stuart, what child star of the late 90s and early 2000s made his stock car racing debut this year? And he's born in Phoenix, Arizona.
Wow.
Tie him into the event.
Child star.
Yes, I like to make things harder for you guys because sometimes the questions can be a little bit too easy.
Can I have a clue about what he was famous for as a child?
He was famous. I can't really give you the name of said sitcom, but it was a sitcom from the year 2000 onwards. A very, very popular one about a young family with many siblings.
Yeah, right.
Working away in Stuart's head at the moment as he tries to think back. It's not his racing debut. He has raced for a long time, but he made his stock car debut in 2021. So Hennessy getting caught by Foster at the moment, and I'd say Hennessy probably won't put too much pressure on Foster at the moment, because Jason Martin is lurking behind them and is starting to close that gap as well. So might see a little bit of teammate action there, just not putting too much pressure on each other. But they are catching up to Andrew Dyson. So all of those, that group of car about a tenth quicker each lap than Dyso, who came in a little bit earlier, trying a slightly different strategy and is struggling from that build strategy call.
Fair to say, Carl, I've got no idea.
No audience help tonight?
Family drama? No, we've
family sitcom.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking 2.5 Men, but you threw me out with the wider family, so that hasn't worked.
2.5 Men is way too late. That's far too modern.
This is early to mid 2000s.
And this is very much the year 2000. It first aired. So.
And a sitcom with an extended family.
Yes. Many siblings, of course.
Yeah, that still doesn't help me.
Some older, some older, some younger.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking Full House. I'm thinking lots of different things, but none that connect for me for motorsport, unfortunately.
You're not the boss of me now.
Yeah, I must admit, I don't watch a lot of sitcoms, so it doesn't really help.
Okie dokie. So it is Frankie Muniz of Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah, well, so there you go. I never watched Malcolm in the Middle.
You missed out, you see.
So that explains it.
Yeah, Frankie Muniz racing career started back in I think 2003, 2004 or something in the Toyota celebrity races, and he went into Formula BMW USA and
okay.
Some of the other series. Well, I think he raced in Indy Lights as well, off the top of my head.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, he made his stock car racing debut this year.
And how did that go?
No idea.
Oh, well, there you go. Finally, I got one up on you, Carl. As we look at Neil Pearson here leading the race now, he's opened up a nice little handy gap of 2 seconds, or over 2 seconds now, over his teammate Andrew Dyson, who continues to just surrender a little bit of time. Oh, good caution. Greg Spence. Spencer, I should say, has had an issue.
Which Electric's entry, just tagging the wall slightly and he's just gone down into the lower wall, made a big dent in that car, held the brakes very well to stop that car before it got to the corner apex, but unfortunately couldn't get it moving again before the yellow came out.
That's a weird incident.
Yeah, just clipped the top wall and it's gone down into the bottom one. A heavy impact there. But this is going to be everybody coming into pit lane, so we're going to have a mad dash in pit lane now. This is going to be a race off pit lane. Look at all the cars coming in right now. Pearson, Dyson, Micklewell, Foster, Hedershed, Martin, Danny G, Gallagher, Douglas and Maddie Ray. Top 10 in pit lane at the moment, along with a lot of other drivers.
Well, because you asked the question, of course.
Of course, I blew my load too early there. It's gone too soon.
This is going to be quite an interesting race now to the end. Just got a camera here on Andrew Dyson and Neil Pearson. So they're just going to take right side. Is anyone going to roll the dice? Sounds like a Dave Douglas or someone type of thing to do. I think maybe Scotty Griffiths might have done that. Josh Mickelmore maybe. Scott Griffiths has it's just an unlap for him. It's not going to do much more than that, but I wondered if anyone might roll the dice and take right side only. It doesn't look like they have. Maybe Lachlan Urquio.
Lachlan Urquio will have
just up into the top 10 now. In fact, he's cycling back.
Yeah, he'll probably come in a little bit later. We'll see if he decides to try track position, but I think he'll slip it down pit lane because I think he's just got his lap back, so it's just got to sort itself out now and get itself into its regular order.
Well, it's going to be almost a 25-lap sprint to the end. Would be unbecoming of the season if we didn't have a late caution.
Well, it adds a little bit more spice to the finish of the series, and this is going to be a sprint to the end.
Dyson, Pearson, Mickelmore, Hedershed, Foster, Martin, Danny G, Dave Douglas, Matty Raymond and Hamish Gallagher are your top 10 as we head through what could potentially be the last caution of 2021 in the ANZCAR Cup Series here on FGM eCast.
We can hope so. It'd be nice if we don't see any more cautions tonight.
Yeah, hi Glue, you're spot on. Just saying in the chat that Daiso and Pearson, someone's engine's just let go by the sound of that. Daiso and Pearson are lightning with the fresh rubber. And absolutely are, as the pace car peels off, as Carl said, got the long run down to the start-finish line. This would favour someone like a Luke Trahare as well. For him potentially making his way through, even a lock on Urquio.
He's going to struggle a little bit on those older tyres, but we'll find out.
Daiso goes, and he is off and running. Neil Pearson goes with him as the flag and the green light comes out, but we are well and truly racing already. And they've opened up a good 4/10 gap to Mickelmore and Hedershed behind them. DPR look to close out the season strong. There's Edward Foster with Jason Martin to his outside. Matty Ray's just dropped a couple of positions as Hamish Gallagher moves up as well.
little bit of contact from Maddie Ray. Neil Pearson losing the rear end through the corner as well, has a big slide, and that's going to give Josh Mickelmore the opportunity to move up to P2. Pearson will be struggling a little bit with those tyres being a little bit warmer than they were last time round. Going to be struggling on the exit, and he does indeed. Mickelmore makes the move. Hedersheed now also trying to put pressure on Pearson. Look at Jason Martin moving up the field as well. Foster sitting down in P6 at the moment with Danny G just behind him. Jason Martin on the march as well as Hedersheed. They are all over Neil Pearson at the moment, who just had that little bit of a step out. Overheated those rear tyres and is struggling on these next few laps.
He is. There's Q behind him. He's trying to get past him. Daniel Hedersheed putting that pressure on. And the heaps of pressure on as Pearson gets up into the wall there. Big time. That was a huge impact. It's probably going to put Foster through. Foster just takes the caution.
Hedersheed up in the wall. Hedersheed has lost the front end. He's got a little bit of a tag from Jason Martin. Loses the rear. Goes up into the wall. Heavy impact for Hedersheed there. That's going to drop it back a lot of positions.
Let's drop right back now with Steve Williams, Justin Witcher. That's back down. He's got into the wall again. That 035 entry, Atari entry is toast.
Big toast. He needs to cool those tyres down a little bit because that back end is all over the place at the moment. Just needs to settle it down and get it back in working order. Meanwhile, Foster making a move on Pearson at the moment. Foster makes the move down the 53 on the 9. Gets the move done early as Stevie Dubb up in the wall with Justin Witcher, I think. And there is a big crash. There is a big crash. Witcher and Stevie Dubb involved in that one.
And
that one was happening from turn number 3 onwards. Little bit of contact from, I believe it was Witcher behind him, sends Stevie Dubb up in the wall, and then all of a sudden Hedersheed gets caught up in that one.
Yeah, let's try and have a look at this. Have a look at it from Norm Clark's perspective and just get a better view of it there. So Nigel Patton involved in that one with Stevie Dubb as well. So a few drivers there getting caught out. And Daniel Hedersheed, who was having such a strong run, has not concluded the way that he wanted it to. The person this will favour the most is Neil Pearson. Yeah, he jumped straight into pit lane.
Dave Douglas, last of the decisions to come out there, almost makes contact with Hamish Gallagher. Possibly did make contact. No, didn't make contact. Very nearly made contact with Hamish though. He really had to crawl it around to get that thing out. So we've got Pearson, Danny G, Hedersheed, Witcher, Urquio, Williams in pit lane as well, Riley Curtis. So those guys are going to be using up their final set of tyres, I'd say. Slapping on a fresh set for the end of this race. We're going to get about a 19-lap sprint.
Yeah, it's no surprise that Neil Pearson's jumped in to grab a new set of tyres. He was struggling with those rear tyres, trying to get him cooled down with the pressure from Foster and the like around him. So this caution just buys him a little bit of time. Fortunate, he's got a little bit of damage on that car as well. But fortunate there not to Bennett and to get the caution to enable him to get that fresh set of tyres on. Daniel Hedersheed doing the same. He'll be getting some repairs done along with Stephen Williams as well. So a few drivers there who were looking promising for a good result dropping down the field. What it has meant is that Dave Douglas now up into 5th. Edward Foster in P4. And Martin Mickelmore Dyson are going to fight it out for the lead. Matty Ray inside the top 10 well and truly now in P7. It's helped Hamish Gallagher too. He's now back up in P6, so he's resurrected his evening. Not that it was ever detrimentally he wasn't last or anything like that, but of course just dropped down the field a little bit there through those pit stops, so just helped him catch that back up.
Shuffle his way back through, get things back for this race.
Yeah, absolutely. Who is that?
Who is who? Sorry?
I just heard somebody just on the limiter there, just revving the bejesus out of the motor. I think it could have been Daiso, probably Dave Douglas or something like that, to be honest. But anyway,
trying to get a little bit of airtime, of course. They do love to be on the TV, these guys.
Yeah, just try to grab our attention. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Speaking of grabbing attention, Josh Mickelmore here just making sure that Dotso knows he's there.
Inspecting the rear of that DPR entered Chevrolet there, just making sure it is up to spec and there's nothing tricky going on, making sure it's all up to the right specs. You never know, these drivers, they might want to take a couple of millimetres off here and there and try and trick a few people. So
well, it could be Josh is running with one eye again, just couldn't quite read the sponsorship on the back of the 041.
Well, this is true, of course. Josh Mickelmore, the Pirate King of ANZCAR, the one-eyed wonder himself. We've got better since then. Back to binocular vision. No longer a binocular vision driver, which is good for him. But just don't mention the bees around him.
Seeing things in 3 dimensions.
He didn't have to invest in too many monocles, luckily.
Daiso doesn't wait at all. Gets going straight away. So we've got 19 to go. Will be 18 to go. As normally is the case, as the green flag ticks over. And here we are, the final round of the ANZCAR Cup Series and FGME cars. This is our 3rd restart now. Josh Mickelmore gets a little wide there. Jason Martin maybe try and take advantage. A couple of drivers just slid down the field on the restart there. Looks like Matty Ray's trying to get past Philip Worley as they go 3 wide. Dave Douglas, Matty Ray, Philip Worley. Matty Ray decides that caution a better part of valour as Douglas and Worley battle away. Douglas dives right down to the inside to get a good run. Looks like he's just not quite able to get that closeout done. Still putting pressure on here. Dyson, Mickelmore, Martin, your top 3. Oh, Douglas into the wall. Here we go. Oh, there we go. Huge incident. A huge incident indeed. Norm Clark gets involved there. Gets a number of hits on his way through. Dave Douglas. That is a big, big incident. Sent Matty Ray flying into the grandstand. He'll be heading down to the infield care centre. Betsy's on there tonight.
The only good news for Matty Ray is he landed on all 4 wheels in pit lane. So he just landed outside his pit box, but he is at least in pit lane. So that is that's something of a commiseration for him, but not the legal way to enter pit lane. So huge accident. As a lot of cars caught up in that one. Dave Douglas looked like possibly might have been Paul Jackson, that one. Paul Jackson, caught up in that as well. So a lot of cars caught up in that one, and a lot of the cars that came in for a pit stop as well. So those cars that came in for that final pit stop caught up in that incident.
At 2:31, entry of Paul Jackson heavily impacted. Scotty Griffiths didn't miss a beat there as well. He got through with some damage as well. Norm Clark caught the brunt of that as well. The 2 fat blokes entry. Look at it there, just strewn on the track. And Dave Douglas couldn't keep it together, just deciding instead to do some circle work to finish his season out. 199, that is concluded.
I think Dave's trying to actually get the power down, and just the back end just stepped out on him. He's probably feeling a bit dizzy as well after that, because he does run in VR.
Absolutely. Let's go back and have another look at this. I'll try, if I can, jump on board with Matty Ray to see this landing. Just sorry if you're feeling a bit queasy at home. There he is there, in pit lane.
Like a cat, he landed on all 4s, so
and right in his pit box. Oh no, it wasn't his box, it was the 80, it was Noddy Tompkins.
Yeah, he managed to land in the right pit box though, the right team's pit box though, so good on him for that one. Style points there, landing in the correct team pit box.
We'll grab him in now. Matty Ray, Mr. Sheen. What a flip, Matty. How are you feeling?
Oh, a little bit sore after that one.
We thought you were just going to cruise forward, just pull up at the pit box and get some repairs, mate. You'll be back out on track, but not to be the case.
Yeah, no, that one's done with the car. That one's bin job, but that's all right. We've got a new car coming next year, so it doesn't matter.
Absolutely, mate. All bar the ending of a fantastic season for yourself, and congratulations on your run this year.
Thanks, man.
Look forward to seeing you back out on track next year in the new car.
Yeah, cheers, buddy.
So Matty Ray there.
Sorry, Matty Ray keeping it clean, the car clean until he didn't need to anymore. For the final race of the season, he can now throw it away and doesn't have to polish that one out.
Absolutely. So, everyone I think is just looking to get this one done. And Mr. Sheen now, Mr. Spleen, absolutely Gale. I like it. Reminds me of the old Rick Disnick. He ruptured his spleen. Of course, that was a completely different type of accident. Oh dear mate. Anyway, Andrew Dyson, he'll get away again here. I reckon we'll be looking to go with him this time. We're just wondering about the quality of the rear tyres for Daiso, having a couple of these restarts. We'll see how he gets on. Might even jump on board with him. Let's listen for the engine.
Got a fantastic restart coming up. Let's listen to this one.
Oh, there's an incident in the background already.
Hennessy going round, I believe.
Doesn't look like it's brought out the caution. It was Daniel Hennessy.
Oh,
So
right,
good
so
start.
Might have been. Who was that? That wasn't Hennessy, sorry, that was another car.
Foster's been down. Let me put my teeth back in here. Hamish Gallagher's got a good restart. He's moved up on Foster, one position. So in the background, Urquio there.
Neil Pearson, sorry.
It was Neil Pearson.
Neil Pearson having an incredible save back there.
Danny G's looking for a move. We're almost 3 wide. Going through turn 2 there. Philip Worley just managing to push in front. Danny G pushing in front of Lachlan Urquio as well. So there's a bit of bandits happening. Hennessy in pit lane. Douglas and Trahere in pit lane as well as Dyson continues to lead. Foster now looking to see if he can maintain position over Philip Worley. I don't think he's going to fight too hard, not at this point in time. This stage, it's all about making it to the end. Jason Martin closes up on on Josh Mickelmore. My apologies. I think by now I'd know those colours off by heart. But Jason Martin closing up on the back of Josh Mickelmore. And things are starting to settle down a little bit further back down the pack. 9 to go here, and it is still Philip Worley in front of Edward Foster, Danny G, Riley Curtis, Lachlan Urquio, Barry Neal in this battle pack, rounding out our top 10. Up the front, Dyson half a second to the good ahead of the Mitch Motorsport duo of Josh Mickelmore, Jason Martin, Hamish Gallagher to complete the trifecta there for them. He's currently running in P4, Philip Worley and Edward Foster behind him.
Watch out for Danny G, Urquio, Riley Curtis and Barry Neal, all of those on fresher tyres up behind Foster. So they could be a little bit of danger for the front runners at the moment, being on those much fresher tyres. They should have a little bit more grip. So they've just got to be a little bit wary of them, and they'll be able to take a few more risky moves as well. Trying down in a few different spots in the racetrack, so they will probably try a few different moves here and there, see what they can get out of this race.
It's up ahead. Looks like Jason Martin trying to run around the outside of Josh Mickelmore now. Not where he's going to switch back potentially here. Spot on high glue. Urquio doing well up inside the top 10. P8 after starting from last. So he's just run his own race. The race is hot here between Martin and Mickelmore for P2.
As the Arizona sunshine sets, the race heats up between the Mitch Motorsport cars of Mickelmore and Martin. At the moment, Martin trying to get past his teammate. A little bit further back, we've got Barry Neal having a fight with Lachlan Urquio as well. So some good fights going on throughout the field at the moment. But Daiso is getting to run away cleanly with this one, as we've got 4 laps remaining here for the final round of the ANZCAR Cup here at Phoenix Raceway here on FGM Ecast.
Daiso will be pumped if he can close this one out. It's a good run from him. Finish the season strongly. To to be a pattern for Dyson. Maybe he needs to tell us he won't see us again in the com booth for the rest of the season a lot earlier. Since then, we've seen him every week.
Since he said that, we can't get him out of the place.
We cannot get him out of the com box, but that's fine. We can understand why there's a certain attraction to jumping into the booth.
As the battle rages on behind him, Philip Worley now looking to make a pass on Hamish Gallagher, try and move himself up into P4 in this race. We've got 3 laps remaining. It is coming to a close shortly. Dyson has a good lead over Micklemore and Martin, who are still battling it away. Hamish Gallagher fighting his life off to keep ahead of Philip Worley. Foster just behind Worley at the moment, with Danny G behind him. Lachlan Urquio, Barry Neal and Riley Curtis, the last of this pack of cars battling it out. As the white flag is flown. Jumping back to Jason Martin, making a move on Micklemore at the moment. Martin on the inside, Micklemore on the outside. Martin trying to make this one stick. He's going to try his best and hold that position. It's a battle between the teammates at the moment. Who is going to get it working? It looks like Micklemore might have this one, but it is Andrew Dyson who's going to cross the line in first place, taking the win of the final round of the Cup and his 8th win of the season. Andrew Dyson, a fantastic race and another fantastic win. 22 positions gained for Urquio. Great run from him. Really strong finish to this season, and that's going to be a useful one for his championship. But when we talk of championships, there's only one man we can speak of tonight, and that is Edward Foster of Atari taking out his 2nd cup in a row. It is Foster winning the championship tonight. We get some dueling donuts going on here. And who has remembered about the yeah. Who will remember that one? We'll find out if they do, because that's a great photo op. But that turned out to be a fantastic race. Possibly getting ever so close to Daiso there. But yeah, a really nice win and a really nice race there between them all. We saw a couple of big wrecks, but nothing major. It was a lot of green flag racing, but at the end it was Dyson who took the victory. Just a fantastic drive from light to finish. And Daiso just trying to get a guide dog to help him to victory lane because he's not sure where it is. He's getting talked through it now at the moment. Dave Douglas, the master of will we see him make it? This is the final race of the season, ladies and gentlemen. Will Daiso make it to victory lane? So it's going to turn left, hard left here. Oh! Right, no! Oh! Dyson misses out on victory lane by the nearest of margins. So, as is tradition, we'll start off with the third place finisher, Jason Martin. Congratulations on that P3, very nearly a P2. Great race from yourself. You tried everything you could to get it yourselves up there, but couldn't quite make it at the end.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Yeah, Josh was too good in the end, so well done, great drive.
So, obviously, been a long series for you all. Coming to the end of the year, it was a strong chase at the end for yourself. You managed a decent finish, obviously not where you wanted to be, I'm sure, but you must be happy as a team with sort of getting all three of your cars up in second, third and fourth.
Yeah, brilliant team result. Absolutely stoked with that. I think we had 4 in the chase and 3 in the top 5, so got to be happy with that. Awesome effort by the boys.
100% team entry in the chase is not a bad thing to have. Just looked like you were just not able to pip the rest tonight. Just could not catch Josh on that last lap as much as you tried, though.
Yeah, struggling a bit tonight with a massive headache. So, I was struggled for the first half of the race pretty much. And, just had to try and get the best result possible.
Well, you got a fantastic result in the end, especially when you're racing with a headache, which is never a fun thing. Congratulations on P3, Jason. I'll let you head off quickly, but before you go, if you want to give any shout-outs.
The boys at Mitch Motorsports, got to thank them. Well done, Hamish, on second for the championship, and congrats on Ed for winning the championship. Got to thank the sponsors, BK Designs, ANZCAR for putting on this awesome league. It's great fun. And, of course, you guys at FGM eCast for the broadcast.
Thank you so much, Jason Martin. I'm sure we'll catch you back in the booth next season. Have a good rest between then.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Chase.
Next up, we will head to the number 31, the man that we spoke to earlier in the evening, Josh Mickelmore. Congratulations on the P2 tonight, mate.
Cheers, man. Cheers. That was a good, fun race there.
You gave it everything you could. You tried all you could. Just could not quite get it at the end, though.
Yeah, I was a lot better on the long run, though. I was short run tonight. Short run wasn't too bad, but yeah, it's just Dyson had the edge on the short run. But I think long run we had one of the best cars out there. But yeah, that was a good killer race, and like I said the other night, these short tracks when they go green, man, we get some of the best racing you can get on any of these bloody tracks. So yeah, it was awesome racing there.
Yeah, you and Jace gave us a fantastic battle at the end, side by side. How hard is it defending from Jason Martin at Phoenix?
No, I just take him as another driver and try not to think about, his past and stuff. To me, he's an alien. He's a super quick driver, but just got to, doesn't matter who it is, just got to put him as another driver and just do your best, and that's what we did tonight.
Well, you absolutely did it tonight. Congratulations on the P2. Again, congratulations to the team as well. A fantastic result for the whole season, and again tonight. We look forward to seeing you back next season. Before I let you go, Josh, the usual shout-out and love to sponsors.
Yeah, just Edward for the championship, mate. Killer run, mate, in the chase. Well done. Daiso for the win tonight. All the boys at Mitch Motorsports for a long, hard, killer year we've had. We got a couple of Xfinity championships and a truck championship, and we're all up there in the chase for this Cup series. So, I've wrapped with the whole year, really. Next year's going to be a few different changes for us, but you'll see most of us back for certain series. We're doing some American stuff next year as well. So, but you'll see us back. And you boys, for putting on the streams every week. It's been killer to watch back, and ANZCAR for all the hard work they've been doing.
Thank you so much, Josh Micklemore, Mitch Motorsport. Congratulations again, and we look forward to seeing you next season.
No worries. Cheers, guys.
And finally, for DPR, the man that needs a map, Mr. Andrew Dyson, congratulations on that win.
Yeah, what'd you say? I need a what? Thanks, man.
You need a map, mate. I mean, you couldn't find Victory Lane.
Yeah, you're right, yeah. I didn't think you were listening to that. Yeah, I honestly had no idea where it was. I saw Dave found himself into Victory Lane not long back. That was after he said, oh, well, I'm not going to need to know, so here you are, everyone. And then he found the play there after the race. That was pretty funny. But no, I honestly had no idea where it was. I probably should have watched that broadcast.
See, lesson learned. You need to watch Dave Douglas's Victory Lane guide, how to get into the Victory Lane.
Yeah.
Congratulations on the win tonight. You had a very quick car out there throughout the race. It looked like you were struggling in the mid part, especially with that slightly earlier pit stop than some of the other cars.
Well, the earlier pit stop probably didn't. I didn't think it hurt me anyway. I thought definitely everyone would have come back at me towards the end of the race if it went green the whole way. But it would have been good fun at the end there. But unfortunately, I messed up my run into the pits. I missed the box, so had to do a little reversey, and that basically meant I was a shot duck. And if that race had kept going green, I was nowhere near the front. So I was very lucky to get that pace car that came out after the long run when we did.
Well, absolutely. I mean, some will say luck, others will say skill. A little bit of luck with that pace car, but you were in the right place at the right time, and you definitely had the pace as well. Just those restarts were absolutely on fire.
I probably learned a little bit from restarts last week because I had a few of them. But just on that, it was great that we didn't have too many yellows tonight, and everyone did a really great job. Pretty hectic at the start there. That was a pretty wild start. Before we even got to the end of the first lap, I think we were all avoiding a wreck. But everyone did a great job there. Then we did a great job to have such long green runs, which was awesome, a heap of fun. And a couple of yellows at the end to mix it up, which was cool.
Oh, very much so. Congratulations on your 8th victory season in the Cup, most wins of anybody. So big congratulations on that one. We look forward to seeing you back next year. Hopefully see what you can do then. Maybe at the beginning of the year, say you won't see us in the commentary box because that seemed to have worked out well for you.
At the beginning of the year?
Well, I mean, since you've said it, we've seen you pretty much up here every week, so it might be a good luck.
Oh, right, with that, yeah. No, man. Seriously, there's some really high-quality operators who run circles in this league. So when it came to the chase and everyone was going so hard, it was, in my mind, I was thinking, well, I'm out of the chase now because I've had such a bad few runs. Everybody else is going to be really pushing hard, and it's going to be so hard to get anywhere near the front. But like I said, we were going to keep having a go and found our way up, so that's cool.
Congratulations on the victory tonight, Andrew. Before I let you go, Mr. Daiso, the usual shout out and love to sponsors.
Well, massive thanks to you guys all year putting on the broadcasts, all the broadcasts that you do throughout the week. Thanks a lot. Same to ANZCAR, all the guys at ANZCAR that organise all the races we have throughout the year, and probably a bit of a thankless job, I think, because they're racing at the same time and they're rubbing paddles with everyone. So sometimes people might not appreciate that there is some manpower that goes into getting all this together. So thanks to those guys that do it all, and they do it all out of their own back pocket. So that's great. We love their work. And thanks to the guys at DPR. Thanks to Neil for dragging us into this circle racing thing. It's been a heap of fun. Really enjoying it. So looking forward to next year. Thanks to Phoenix Smokers, Simix.com, South Lewis and Hoyce, Max Mechanical, and all those other cool guys that get around us. And congrats, Josh, Jason, Ed as well. He took it out. Cheeky dog. He knew what he was doing. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you so much, Daiso. It's a pleasure having you, and we look forward to next season.
Thanks. See you guys.
And next up, because it is the final round of the championship, we better speak to the champion, the number 53 Natari Autosport, Edward Foster. Congratulations on taking out the championship for 2021.
Thanks very much.
You came in a little bit pessimistic this season, it must be said, but it's worked out in your favour.
Well, look, I mean, it was a horrible start to the year, wasn't it? With the team change and having to set up Natari sort of at the last minute, even after the season had sort of started and everything. And it really just threw all of our organisation into a little bit of disarray. And we just weren't able to capitalise on anything at the beginning of the year. The races were a little bit messy and we just couldn't I was finding that I couldn't read races very well, and the pace was sort of there, but kept things just kept going wrong. Every sort of solid finish was followed by disaster. So it started out pretty badly, and it took a real change of approach to sort of dig myself out of it, I guess. And now, as we went into the chase, even as far back as sort of April, when things were going pretty wrong, I definitely had my doubts, but there was always a sort of, I guess, a lingering thought in the back of my mind that I still thought that this was going to turn my way eventually. And unlike last year, where I had to really go out there and be aggressive and take it, this year has just almost sort of let it come to me. So it was a different approach, but the same result in the end. And I have to say, doing this for myself with my own team it's a lot better. This one's the best yet, definitely.
Well, that's something I was going to touch on, of course, Natari. You've done well. You've taken out the Truck Championship, and now you've got the Cup Championship as well under your belt. So not a bad first season for the team. Yeah,
look, it hasn't been. It was kind of the same group of guys that were running together last year, and we had more success last year in the sort of wins and so on. But, with some of the really strong guys that have showed up this year, Daiso obviously being one, and Pearson running the full year. And, we've had so many good, just echo his thoughts, I guess, saying there's some really good operators out there, apart from, the obvious top running guys that have been here for years. The wins just became a little bit harder to come by. And I think we had like 14 different winners or something over the Cup season, which is absolutely insane. And when you think about sort of 36 weeks running this season, it starts in February and it's finished now in November, there are a lot of series out there that have a lot of really, really talented guys in there and everything. But in terms of the length of this one and just the way the races just come at you week after week after week after week, and the number of competitive guys in there, the number of people who are capable of winning races, it's in that respect, I don't know that there's too many tougher championships out there. It's it definitely wears you down, and I'm very glad it's over, and I'm very glad it's sort of resolved in my favour.
Oh, absolutely. Look, a huge congratulations. Well done on a very consistent season and a very successful one as well. Before I let you go, Ed, the usual thing of shout out and love to sponsors.
Yeah, so of course I got a shout out to the Natari guys that they've been, sort of working with us all year. Daniel, of course, came on a little bit later, but there's been fantastic working with those guys. Big shouts out really to everybody who comes out here every week and races, especially the guys who sort of turn out, put in the effort, practice, and get their awards for running competitively as well. And the way that they race you clean and everything like that, it's really, really good. It's miles better than some of the stuff you get elsewhere. So that's fantastic. And, of course, to the sponsors, we've got Race Magazine, Two Fat Blokes, Ferguson Group Media, AJ Insurance Services, and, Bridgestone as well. So that for the guys who know the family history I've got with that company, that makes it really, really sweet. Feel like I've just sort of added maybe not a chapter, but maybe a little paragraph to that story. So that side of thing feels really, really good. And of course you guys for giving up your time to come out and broadcast the races, all of the races, 3 races a week we run. So you guys giving up your time to do that. And also Danny G and Matt Hunter for helping us all on the organisational side. So, it's a big effort. And like Daiso touched on, it's probably there's a lot more that goes on than a lot of people realise, and a lot of knock-on effects to try and predict whenever you try to do anything or make a change and everything like that. So, thanks to those guys as well for sticking in.
Absolutely, that's something I was just about to say, is a big thank you to yourself and to Matty Hunter and, of course, Danny G for all the work you've done this season for ANZCAR. But a absolute thoroughly deserved victory, a well-deserved championship, and congratulations on the second in a row. A great victory for yourself.
Yeah, thanks very much. Kind of signs off the Gen 6 era nicely, so we'll see what the Gen 7 gives us next year.
Thank you so much, Edward Foster, Natari Sport. A championship winning season under the belt, and that is another season of the Cup done and dusted, Stuart.
Yes, the first, not complete season, but majority complete season on FGM eCast as well. So obviously a big long one for us. The trucks, we went through 3 seasons of the truck this year, 2 seasons of the Thunder Series as well. So it has been a big one, Carl. A massive thank you to you from us as well for everything that you've done to help us broadcast this. My knowledge of all things Oval has expanded exponentially throughout the year, and without you calling, I'd probably say a fair number of stupid things aside of those that I already do. So thank you very much for your contribution to the channel over the last year.
As always, you're always welcome, Stuart. It's been a pleasure, and it has been a fantastic season to cover. As stated, I think 13 victories overall this season in the Cup from, 13 different drivers taking out victories this season in the Cup. A fantastic effort. 32 races in all. So, almost, it's just a little bit under half the race is a different victor, and that is a huge thing this season. We've seen a lot of first-time victors as well in the ANZCAR Cup this season, which has been a great thing for us because we love seeing some fresh blood approaching, and we have seen a really strong season for that man, Andrew Dyson, that took out the win tonight. 8 wins in the season. That is an incredible feat. Of course, we had Michael Skurlock and Jake Maloney both with 5 wins apiece. Maloney 5 from 6 races, of course. So if Maloney can get some time off, I know he's a busy boy, but it would be nice to see Jake Maloney managing to make a season-long approach one day. But a fantastic season from all the drivers, and a big thank you to the audience as well. We could not do it without you guys and all of your support.
Yeah, absolutely. A big thank you to everyone who tunes in every week. So that is the end of the ANZCAR proceedings for 2021, where we will continue to broadcast. We've got 4 weeks left in the Oz Pro Am Sim Series on a Tuesday evening, so we'll be back next Tuesday. Carl and I are going to enjoy a well-earned break, with the exception of that stream. You'll see bits and pieces from us throughout the off-season across our social media channels, so do jump onto those and keep an eye out, and particularly as we get into 2022. It sounds weird to say it, but if we don't see you again on one of our streams, thanks very much for tuning in during 2021. Have a safe and merry Christmas with your family, certainly with your family after the last 2 years, and we look forward to catching you again in 2022 with an all-new car and an all-new calendar for the season, and there'll be details coming out about that in due course. So from everyone here at FGM eCast, thank you very much for your support, and we will catch you again next season for ANZCAR, back with the trucks, Xfinity and the Cup in 2022.